Today we are going to start chapter 3 of class 11 psychology, that is basis of human behavior. Now if you are going to ask what we are going to read in this chapter, in brief I can say first of all you are going to read about the evolutionary perspective, then the biological basis, and at the end the cultural basis of human behavior. Considering the first topic of the chapter, that is evolutionary perspective, it says that the characteristics of the modern human being developed some around 2 lakh years ago due to repeated interaction with their environment. If you are going to ask what is evolution, now evolution is a gradual and orderly biological changes that happens in the pre-existing species, and they develop to more adaptable forms in the latter period. Now evolution happens through a process called as natural selection. For example, you can refer to the Charles Darwin theory, that is survival of the fittest. For example, if there are species of the chameleon and some are able to change their color to the background and some can't, definitely the ones who are able to change their color, they have more higher rate of survival than the other one. Definitely their characteristics are going to help in the next generation, and the other ones they are going to perish soon. So this is all about the natural selection. So there are 3 important characteristics which help us to distinguish a modern human being from their ancestors. First is more bigger and developed brain, which are able to do more specialized cognitive functions like your perception, memory, problem solving, and so on. And there is also use of a language and communication. The second characteristics is ability to stand upright on 2 legs. The third is free hand with workable opposing thumb. That means there is increase in dexterity, mobility in the movement of their hands and legs to carry out their day-to-day activities. And there are 2 important things mentioned in your book which is important from exam point of view. First is that human brain is 2.35% of the total body weight, and second is human cerebrum is more evolved than other parts of the brain. The next topic is biological and cultural roots. The determinants of our behavior are the biological structures that we have inherited from our ancestors in the form of a developed body and brain. Now, if for some reason the brain cells get damaged, definitely we are not able to perform in a proper manner. For example, it can be mental retardation among children. We can't also deny the statement that we are social beings. We belong to society. We are a part of the culture. Now, culture helps us to learn from different opportunities by placing us in different situations and exposing us to different demands of the society. So, there is both cultural and biological basis of the behavior. The next topic is biological basis of human behavior. Now under this we are going to read about the neurons. Now neurons are the basic unit of the nervous system. Neurons are the specialized cells which have the unique property of transmitting various stimulus into electrical signals. Now they also have that special property for the process like your reception, conduction, and transmission of the information into electrochemical impulses. Nearly 12 billion neurons are found in a human nervous system. Now there are 3 important or fundamental components of neuron which you are going to find in everywhere. So first is your soma, which is called as cell body. Now Here it contains the nucleus, and inside it there is a genetic material. So for reference, you can remember the figure of a amoeba which you have read in class 9, where there is a nucleus, where there is cell fluid or cytoplasm, and there are other structures like your vacuoles, etc. The second component is your axon. So axon is definitely an important part of it, which tries to transmit the information. At the end of the axons there are terminal buttons which helps in transmitting the information to another gland, another neuron, and another muscles. The third component is your dendrites. Now dendrites, they are the branch like structures, and they are called as the receiving ends of the neuron. So they are able to receive the information or the various stimulus from another neuron or directly from the sense organs. So if in brief I have to say how the message is transmitted, first it's going to get received by the dendrites, then it is through your soma, the cell body, then it is axon, and at the end of it there is terminal button, and the same way the process is going to repeat. The next topic is about the nerve impulse. So as we know, the messages get transmitted in the nervous system through the form of the nerve impulse. So when the stimulus gets in contact with the receptor, there is electrical changes in your nerve potential. Now nerve potential is actually a sudden change in electrical potential on the surface of the neuron. Now if you got a cut on your skin due to septic pain, definitely it will take you some time to understand that okay, you got damage and you are bleeding. But if you are getting a sharp and a deep cut on your skin, definitely it will take you less time to recognize that you are hurt and you are bleeding. So if the stimulus energy is bit low, then the nerve impulse is going to be weak, but it doesn't solely depend on the stimulus energy. Now apart from that, there is that if the nerve fibers they work on all or none principle, that means they are going to respond completely or they will not respond at all. So last topic of the video, that is synapse. So as I have earlier told you that if the message have to pass from one neuron to other neuron, the line has to go like this. If it is first it's going to get received by the dendrite, then it is soma, and then is axon, and then is terminal button. So at the tip of the terminal button, the nerve impulse get transmitted to another neuron by making a functional connection that is called as synapse. So we have to remember a neuron is never physically connected with another neuron, but there is actually a small gap between them which is called as synaptic cleft. Now in that synaptic cleft, the nerve impulse are transmitted into electrochemical impulses, the transmission of the messages, and these chemical substances are actually called as neurotransmitters. With this I want to end my video. If you like my explanation, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, comment down below if you have any kind of query regarding this topic. I will definitely try to solve it, and I will link the handwritten notes in the description. With this, thank you and have a great day.